What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of Insert Name FC Podcast, a member of the Belly of Sports Media Network. You can find us on all things podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast fix from. Just look us up at Insert Name FC. We also have a YouTube channel at Insert Name FC. We actually break these episodes down to shorter videos. They're a little bit more digestible for you guys. And also, the full video version of this podcast is available on Belly Up's YouTube channel. Once again, Belly Up Sports. You can find them over there, and you'll see the full video version of this podcast. The other way you can find us is obviously on Goals TV, GOZ.tv. That's where you can find the short videos and the full video podcast over there as well. As a matter of fact, as I'm saying all this, follow us on social media at Insert Name FC on Instagram, X, and Twitter and Facebook. Make sure you guys give us a follow, for all the stuff that we end up dropping for this podcast. And so this episode, it's going to be a lot weirder. As a matter of fact, I don't even know how good the audio is going to sound. I'm in my car right now driving back to Houston. I'm on my way back from being in Frisco, Texas, to go watch Houston Dynamo play FC Dallas. I'll share my thoughts on that a little later on. But yeah, it's been... I don't recommend this. I just want to point that out. I do not recommend what I'm doing right now. I don't, obviously drive safely, drive correctly. If you guys notice, I'm not even if you guys watching the video version, like I'm not looking at I'm not looking at the camera. I'm like focused on the road. So I'm more often, like, for my family's sake, I'm actually one of the good drivers, which is kind of ironic because I'm doing this. But if you guys want to have like an understanding as to why I'm doing this, one, I'm kind of in a time crunch, and the reason why I say that is because when I get home, I gotta knock out some more things and try to get this episode out like quick and out, because of I'm actually gonna be flying out Wednesday night to Los Angeles because unfortunately my grandmother passed away, and so I wanted to get this done as soon as I can so I can be with my family in this tough time. So that's kind of the reason behind it. I wouldn't never have even thought of doing this. Like, this is completely and utterly stupid. But once again, I'm confident in my driving abilities, and two, like I said, I'm on a time crunch, so I'm trying to get this all done in a reasonable time. And also, I heard something about like podcasting in a car. Like, apparently, like the sound, like, because of the noise cancellation that's inside the car, apparently it's like really good. So we'll find out. We're about to find out. And I'm also using my AirPod, just because I have it, technology. But yeah, once again, I do not recommend this. I don't think this is a great idea. This is probably like downright one of my dumbest things that I've ever done. And I just want to point that out. Do not try this. Do not ever try this. If if you were to record any content in your car, probably be parked is probably what I would recommend. Not driving down a public freeway. So a public interstate to go from one state to another. So but like I said, I just gotta make best with my time. So that's kind of where I'm at here. In this episode, it's going to be a tight crunch, man. Like I said, it's going to be a tight crunch. But I'm going to talk about my trip to Frisco. Just share my thoughts on the trip. Share my thoughts on my experience at Toyota Stadium. I think Toyota Stadium. FC Dallas, Houston Dynamo, my thoughts on that. Meeting Jose Tejas for the first time. Talk about, I'm hoping no one sees me doing this because I'm probably going to get honked at a lot. Anyways, so yeah, like, where was I? Oh yeah, my trip to Frisco. Talk about two amazing cup finals. We had Crystal Palace beating Manchester City, and we had Bologna beating AC Milan. So some big cup finals, some big moments for some clubs that don't normally get their moment in the sun, and we're going to talk about them. And The thing that kind of sucks right now, because like I don't have my computer with me and I can't tell you guys all like the facts about what's going on, but I have like a general good idea of like what's coming with Raul Asensio. So it's very much now a public thing. So there was discussions about it. There's been like releases of it, but now it's going to be addressed. So we're gonna go ahead. I'll go ahead and share my thoughts on it. The whole Raul Asensio, and I have never shied away from it. I told I spoke about it a few times. I know I speak highly of Raul Asensio as a player. But I did also mention that like I just don't know if he's going to have a future because of what's coming for him with this scandal that's coming up. And then obviously Liga MX, congratulations to Toluca for making it to the final. That's the only thing I know right now, because it is like it's Sunday afternoon, so I don't know who's playing. I don't know who's Toluca gonna face off against right now. I know that Cruz Azul has a goal advantage right now in the second leg, so we'll see what happens. So we'll talk, but we'll definitely share my thoughts on the semifinals and then preview the final. Once again, like I already know the first leg's gonna be played on Wednesday, but just where we'll hopefully same. Luckily, I'm happy that like the first leg has stayed competitive throughout, and I think that I'll share my thoughts on all that. But anyways, yeah, we'll talk about that. So, and give you guys our players of the week, give you guys some games to look forward to this coming weekend, and yeah, wrap this show up in a pretty little bow for you. Like I said, man, once again, I just want to preface it again. Do not, and I repeat, do not try to record a podcast episode in your car driving down the interstate. Like, if you're gonna do this, maybe be parked. Maybe there's a positive of doing this in a car. Maybe it is because the soundproofing and all that stuff. Maybe that's a general an actual thing. But I just want to preface it once again. Do not do this. I repeat, do not do this unless you're really good at multitasking, which is something that I am surprisingly good at. But once again, please, 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 please do not do this. Do not ever do this. This is not at all a great idea. Like I'm really treading carefully. As a matter of fact, like right now, I'm literally on the right lane. If you guys don't understand like road etiquette, driving, like road etiquette, I don't know if like overseas if it's any different, but I know if you're going to be on like the right lane, that means you're driving on the speed limit. You're actually going to be like driving carefully. Now, if you go on the left side, like you better be, it's full send. So the furthest lane on the left, that's usually where you go like super fast. Right lane, that's where you're kind of being more steady and not driving too well, I'm not saying reckless, but just you're not driving as fast. So that's the reason why. So I'm trying to do everything as I can, as carefully as I can. So once again, please, 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 please do not do this. Do not ever do this. I'm just gonna preface it again. But once again, guys, headlines, players of the Liga MX, players of the week, and games to watch, and yeah, have you guys a good episode for you guys this Thursday, and Dawg of the month. We'll talk about Dawg of the month as well in this episode. So yeah, I'm trying my best to give you guys a good show, and hopefully we have a good one for this one. All right. So with all that being said, we're gonna take a break and then go right into headlines.
Let me tell you guys about Belly Up Sports. Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. Belly Up Sports is the premier, not your average website.
All right, guys, so we're going to kick things off with Raul Asensio. I think it makes the most sense to go ahead and start talking about his situation. So, if you guys don't know, Raul Asensio kind of became like sort of like a rising name for Real Madrid as a center back due to all the injuries that happened for Real Madrid, and I think he did a fairly good job. He was really good on his feet. Could be a promising part of Real Madrid's future, and I preface with the word could be because of the fact that he is right now in the middle of a scandal involving sharing images and I guess contents of that are sexual with involving a minor. Um, and I think so this is only just from what I'm thinking. I'm assuming that they knew each other prior to the whole him becoming a legal adult. That's just me. Like I'm not. I don't know the whole story. Once again, I don't have a computer on me to like tell you, but I just know he did. He he shared basically he shared some stuff uh, that involved a young woman, um, and obviously she did not consent to sharing any of that content to anybody else, and so that's where he is at, and it's him and some other uh, I believe Real Madrid Academy players as well. It is disgusting. It is distasteful. It is stupid. I don't condone any of it. Obviously, it's not. In hindsight, it's never a good thing. It should never be viewed as a good thing. It was downright idiotic. Is it something that people do? Unfortunately, yes, it is. Um, and I don't want to say, oh, boys will be boys, because it's not one of those things, and it goes right down to the end of the day. Especially when you're young, you have these moments where you have to make a decision, and if you pick the wrong decision, it's going to affect you all, like in the worst possible way in your young life. It's heartbreaking, and I really hope that it isn't true. Because I mean, the things that people are pointing out is the timing. The timing of this whole thing. Raul Asensio is now, obviously now playing for Real Madrid. Now he's now a professional first team player. And now this has arose, right? At least that's the logic that some people are having. Am I having that logic? No, because I think we need to know what really happened. If there was in fact a sharing of videos and images of this young lady, all that stuff is going to have to be the initial part. And I think regardless, like, look, regardless of what you do, whether they're fine with sending you pictures, whether they're fine with recording you doing certain activities, that is one thing. But the other thing is then dispersing it, and that to me is downright the dumbest thing of all, because it's something that like the whole sharing, the whole sending each other images, that's just a common thing, right? That's like a thing that everybody does. Like, prime example, when I was in the Marine Corps, my high school sweetheart used to send me pictures to get me through the day, but pictures and videos, but I never dispersed it to anybody. It was in with me. And just so you guys know, I deleted everything once we broke up. I deleted all of it because obviously that I didn't think it was right to still have that in my possession. But so it's sending each other like those kind of images, those kind of videos. It's a very common thing. But the problem at the end of the day is when you disperse it, when you send it out to somebody else, and that's very problematic in my opinion. And I think also, just to kind of bring it back to the Marine Corps, one of the things that I am not very proud of, I never partaked in it. I never really did it myself, but there was this thing called a chain called Make Her Famous. And what that was essentially unfortunately in military life, you're just, things happen. People do tend to get cheated on very, very frequently in the military. Relationships, obviously when you're talking about long distance relationships, they're not stable. And then on top of that, you're talking about 19, 18-year-olds. The maturity level is just not there. I'm just gonna point that out. And I remember that as soon as I became a Marine, like, and the first time I ever got one of those messages to make her famous. So essentially, what the make her famous text thread I don't even know if they still do it, but essentially what it is that the Marine who got cheated on would then send an image of the young woman. More often than not, they're not clothed, and they basically say what they did. They cheated on them, or it's not just young people. It's also like the older Marines also would do this too. And for one, it was just, to me, it was distasteful. It was very much inappropriate. What happens between two people is one thing, and obviously, and it's a lot of like just lack of maturity. This to me, like, and this is coming from someone that did also get cheated on while I was in the service. So yes, it sucks. It hurts. It's not a easy feeling, but also like you can't, like, that is just, to me, that's way too of a personal attack because the thing that I think that's awful is now there's this image of this person, whether or not like, for my case, like, I'm not happy that I got cheated on, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna throw this person in the mud, because at the end of the day, she's someone's daughter, she's somebody's sister, she's somebody's friend, and if she doesn't want to tell people what she did, it's perfectly fine. Like, it has nothing to do with me. The simplest thing you can do, especially in that kind of scenario, is just cut the ties and move on. But unfortunately, when you're young and stupid, you don't think about that. You just want to cause pain, and that's a very sad thing. But now, this is not what happened here. This is just, I'm guessing, he got some action with. This is just my assumption. He just got some action, and he wanted to, share his buddies, what he got into, and unfortunately, that's illegal. And then on top of that, now he's legally an adult, and I'm assuming this young lady is 16 or something. I don't, like, once again, I don't have like the information in front of me, so I can't really tell you, but I'm assuming she's a minor, because I think that they're throwing also that, dispersing explicit content of a minor, I think, is another thing. So that's even worse. That doesn't help his case at all. And I think you can make the context, I guess, a defense on the context of it, but like at the same time, you're dispersing still content of someone of a minor age. So I mean, that doesn't really change, whatever age you are, doesn't really change the fact of it's still a minor. And I think, whatever is decided, I would honor, like, look, as much as I think Raul Asensio is a good player, that doesn't change the fact that what he did was stupid. And this goes back to this just young people, and I don't even say this generation, because young people just do stupid shit in general. Like, that's just what happens. Like, I don't want to say this boys will be boys, nothing like that, but they do things and you're just like, why would you put this out there? It's like the whole I forgot his name. Anyway, but okay, it's not important. But the biggest the thing to me that's always dumb is that, like, especially for young people, is you record it, and for some odd reason you decide to post the dumb thing. Like, and I'm not talking about like content creation, having like dumb hot takes, nothing like that. Like, for instance, like, I have a family member, she got in trouble because they posted a video of them fighting in the bathroom, so she got suspended from school for fighting. And the funniest thing to me was that she was trying to play it off like she didn't do anything wrong, and in my head, I'm like, why would you record yourself? Like, one, why would you record yourself? Two, why would you put it out there for the world to see? Like, people that know you are going to share it, and either a parent or a teacher is going to see that, and now you're in trouble. So to me, it was always the dumbest thing that you can ever do. It's just idiotic. It makes no fucking sense. And this kind of goes into it, but this is more of a worse extreme level because of the fact that it is, from what I was reading, like sexual content, and it's involving a minor, regardless of how old Raul Asensio was when he got it. That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're dispersing it, and you dispersed it, and she's still a minor. So, there's like, if it is as black and white as it seems to be, then yeah, he deserves to get what he's gonna get, and unfortunately, it's gonna cost him his career. It's like these unfortunate things that happens with a lot of these athletes, that they think they can get away with whatever they want to do, and I mean, and there is still a possibility that he could get away with it. I mean, there's, once again, like, I don't want to keep talking about Mason Greenwood, but there's still people that are not entirely sure if Mason Greenwood in fact did it. Yeah, like, I mean, that's just kind of, like, yeah, okay, your name is clear technically, but like, there's people out there that still don't believe that he is as innocent as he's claimed to be. As all I know is that his name was cleared, and as whether you like it or not, whether you agree or disagree, his name is cleared. Now, I know a lot of people that responded to, like, when they announced the whole, that now it's going public. They were saying, oh, Real Madrid, he's as Real Madrid as it can be, because I guess there's been a lot of scandals with Real Madrid. I mean, obviously the whole Karim Benzema blackmailing Valbuena thing was very much a thing. But yeah, it's insane. It's very much insane, I think. But as of right now, I think it's idiotic. Not what's happening. What Raul Asensio is now involved with. Now, if he had nothing to do with it, that's a whole other story. But it seems very much likely that he has some involvement to some extent, and that's the idiotic part. Is just, you put yourself in this situation. You know what position you're in. I'm assuming that the other Madrid academy players aren't involved with Real Madrid anymore. But not only did you come out of the academy, but you're a first team player now, and you're talking about a very exciting future with Real Madrid with Xabi Alonso, and you could very much be part of that plan for Xabi Alonso, but you kind of just pissed it all away, because of this. You were in year one of your career, and now you're probably, if all things go kind of how most people are hoping it's going to go for you, especially if it is very much true that you in fact did this, you're goodbye. That's it. You're gonna be a what would've, and that's unfortunate. But aside from that, yeah, if this all comes out to be true, and as more information comes out, it's right now, it's just disheartening that people are still doing this kind of dumb shit. And the worst part of it all, like, we're just talking about an athlete. Like, there's cases that are just regular people that also do this as well. And I think he'll probably have a little bit of more of a leeway just because of what his status is. And I mean, I don't agree with that part. Once again, though, we'll find out once everything gets put out there, and if his name is cleared or not. And I think that, from there, we just have to move on, unfortunately. But yeah, it's disgusting, it's distasteful, and we'll see what happens throughout this trial or whatever is being done, this investigation. And is Raul Asensio very much involved in it, or he's just the big name that just unfortunately has to be mixed in with all this? And we'll see as time goes on. I apologize of the subject matter. I understand that this is like things that people want to discuss, but like I've done in this podcast many times, it's gonna be, if it's something that's of this magnitude, you one, it needs to be shared because it needs to be a warning to all that this is not acceptable, and nor should you feel that you're in a position where you can do whatever the fuck you want, regardless of what your status is, whether you're famous, whether you're a person of wealth and power. Like the law. There, no one is exempt from the law. At least they shouldn't be. And so, and if Raul Asensio is very much guilty and somehow and Real Madrid finds a way to finagle it, yes, I'm not going to be happy with him. I'm just not. And it breaks my heart because of how promising I view Raul Asensio to be. But we'll see what happens with all that being said and done for that one.
Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canada Dips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports.
But the next headline we're going to talk about, I'll just mix in the FA Cup and the Italian and the Coppa Italia. So we'll start off with the FA Cup. So Crystal Palace defeats Manchester City 1-0. Goal was scored by Easy. It was Crystal Palace's first major trophy in the club's history, and it was really cool. It was awesome to see. The sights were amazing. I had two things involved in it. One, I did not want to see Manchester City win another fucking trophy, and once again, they could not win the FA Cup, which is kind of funny, back-to-back years. But on top of that, just it's Crystal Palace. It's just a team that normally does not get their moment in the sun. And I think it's awesome that they did. Dean Henderson was very much the hero of this game. Had some great saves. I know there was a controversial save that was brought up, but aside from all that, man, it was a fun game. It was exhilarating to watch. Like, yes, it's a 1-0, but everything that Crystal Palace had to do defensively to just keep that lead, it just says a lot, because the possession was very much on Man City's side. As a matter of fact, I believe Crystal Palace ended with 22% of the possession. Man City outshot them in every cat. It was very much Man City just trying all that they could to get a goal. And I mean, they even had a penalty that was stopped by Dean Henderson. So that just tells you how locked in this Crystal Palace team was defensively to keep the 1-0 result. And, the team comes out with their first major trophy. And I know that's a really awesome moment. I think that just, once again, this year has been insane for the game. Like, just clubs that you just don't expect to be doing what they're doing this year, and I'm very happy for Crystal Palace. Also shout out to Chris Richards, who was a very big part of that back line for Crystal Palace this year. So really cool story. Awesome to see them lift that trophy. Once again, I just didn't want to see Man City win something. As an Arsenal fan, I just can't have, like, it just sucks having to watch all these teams are in a fucking cup final right now. You have them. You have Man City that was in the FA Cup final. Liverpool won the Premier League. Carabao Cup Newcastle won the Carabao Cup. And we have this god awful Europa League final between Man City and Tottenham, which I hope that really does go as I hope it does. I'm pulling for Manchester United because I really don't want to fucking see Tottenham win it. But yeah, you have all that. It's just not been great for Arsenal. Like, they were so close. They say we were close. I don't know. I think PSG was very much just gonna win it, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, like, it was just not a good. It was a good performance from Crystal Palace defensively. Man City, you still gotta give them props, man. They were doing all that they could to get a goal in and win this cup, and unfortunately it just didn't work their way. Dean Henderson just man of the match performance, man, just locked in, had the baseball cap on, bro. I love it. I love that for him. A guy that a lot of people thought he could be the next goalkeeper for Manchester United, and I think some people very much agreed with that, but he just once again just didn't get his opportunity. They have Andre Onana. I'm sure they're kicking the grass right now just knowing that happened. But yeah, solid performance for Crystal Palace, and they get to lift some silverware this year. So I'm happy for them. Crystal Palace is a team that I have no ill will towards, so it doesn't bother. It was funny because I was talking to Jose about it. He just like he just doesn't care. Like he's just pissed off that Arsenal is just not lifting a trophy. So, and you know what's crazy was I said it. I was like, I would like I remember when we started the year. I was like, I want to say Arsenal. It could be Arsenal's year, but I just don't know. And it once again. My I just don't know. It just makes sense now at this point, because there's just things that this team does that it just overwhelms me. And I'm not trying to go into this isn't about Arsenal. This is about Crystal Palace, and we're gonna stick to that part. So once again, congratulations to Crystal Palace for winning the FA Cup. Congratulations to Chris Richards. Him and Matt Turner, who didn't he helped in the run for the FA Cup. He played a few matches in the FA Cup, but the final obviously was going to be Dean Henderson. But yeah, man, I think there's now 4 or 5 American players that have lifted the FA Cup. So those two get to be part of that small history with the FA Cup of Americans, and so that's really cool. That's really awesome for them. And Chris Richards is the guy that I really like. I hope to see him continue to develop as a player and be a big bright spot for the U.S. men's national team. So really, really good for them. Once again, Matt Turner, you just got to find somewhere that's going to let you fucking play, because you're not getting any better. But yeah, there's that. So congratulations, Crystal Palace, for lifting that trophy. And I believe they qualified for Europa League, so we'll see what happens with them there. And then the other cup final, so you had Bologna beating AC Milan 1-0 as well. I feel terrible that I don't remember the players. Ndoye scored the only goal, the winner. The possession was a lot more tighter than the other game. I do believe Bologna was probably the better attacking team, but it just goes back to AC Milan. Like they've just been overwhelming. Like they've been very mid. I think mid is the right word for them. They just haven't. The players that should be performing have not been performing. Rafael Leao, a guy that a lot of people were anticipating to take that next step, just never took it. Christian Pulisic being the bright spot, but now we're kind of more and more realizing that you need more than just Christian Pulisic playing well. Santi Jimenez, really good player, but also kind of has been kind of hot and cold, lately with AC Milan. The backline just once again just turning draws to losses and wins to draws. It just seems like, and I think they turned things around. I think AC Milan has very much turned things around since we talked about them, but it's just once again they haven't been able to help themselves. And you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win the Scudetto. Right now, all you have to flex on anybody is that you beat Inter Milan for the Super Coppa Italia. So that's so you have a trophy, but it is the Super Coppa Italia, that the Italian Super Cup. Like that's what you have on you right now. Which I mean, I think you can take that and maybe build on it, but it's just been a very overwhelming year. You sack your manager, and then the manager you bring in, while looking interesting when he first came in, now is not looking as interesting now. So it's I'm really intrigued how AC Milan responds, because I think at this point, I don't think they're gonna we have very few matches left in the season to begin with. I don't know where they are right now in the standings. Once again, I don't have my computer on me right now to actually pull that up. But I think they're still playing for like some sort of European competition. They're trying to get a European spot. If that's even in play for them. But yeah, it's not a great look for them. More questions that need to be answered in this coming summer transfer window for the former Italian Giants. And I say former because they just haven't been that team in a very long time. Yes, they won the Scudetto a few years ago, but that was a few years ago. You're seeing, and I think the Italian league, you're starting in Serie A, you're starting to see a big rise in player, in the teams, right? Like you're seeing Fiorentina is slowly getting better and better each year. You're seeing Atalanta wanting to, let people know that they're still going to be in this conversation. Inter Milan is just a force to be reckoned with. Juventus is still trying to figure some things out as a club, but I think that I'm more confident in them than I am with AC Milan. Even Lazio has looked pretty good. Napoli looks good. I don't know what's going on with them and Antonio Conte. I think there's some rumors speculating that Conte wants to leave Napoli. I think that's just rumors. I don't know how he feels about it, but I know that like Napoli right now is in a really interesting position as well. Like just Roma. I mean, hopefully Roma can get their stuff together. There's a lot of more things to be interested in Serie A. I think it's starting to get better and better as a league, and I can't wait for their growth to continue as a league because I think it's gonna be really cool to see them be in more conversations, be more competition. See them in Champions League finals more and more. Seeing them. Obviously Atalanta won the Europa League last year, and now Inter Milan has a chance to win the Champions League. All these things. That's what you want to see, and I mean, so AC Milan has a lot ahead of them to get back on track, to even just get on track. I won't even say back on track, to just get on track for them because there is a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of guys that's rumored to be leaving the club. Obviously, they're committed to Christian Pulisic. But like, are you building the team around Christian Pulisic, or is he just going to be a big piece, a piece of the machine that is AC Milan? So I'm very much intrigued by that. As someone that supports the U.S. men's national team and wants our U.S. men's national team players to do well, look, like I said, I get it. Christian Pulisic can be viewed as overrated, and I think it's fair to say he's overrated. But right now he is the best American. He is the best American right now. As of right now, he is the best American player. And, it's cool that he gets to play for AC Milan and be viewed as such an important player for AC Milan. But you kind of lose a valid argument for him because the club has just not looked great. And I don't think it's his fault that the club is where the club is how they are right now. It's not his fault. It has nothing to do with him because it's just, once again, this is a team sport. Like, one player is not going to win you games, and and I don't think Christian Pulisic is that guy that can carry the team through. I mean, he's going to provide you moments and be brilliant in his moments, but he's not a guy that every single day when things aren't looking great, you turn to him. I think that's just more pressure that's just unnecessary to the guy. In my opinion, are there players that are built for that? Yes. I just don't think Christian Pulisic is that guy in that retrospect. But yes, he is the best player. He's the best player for the U.S. men's national team, and you want to see him performing. And I think obviously AC Milan has opened him with open arms, and I really hope that he continues to live up to the expectations that they have for him now. But on the other side, man, I don't want this to just be talked about how AC Milan was terrible, but in reality, Bologna has just been a really good team, and I think I've actually bested AC Milan this year. So this was not a fluke. I think this team is very much good. And once again, I don't want to try to talk about Arsenal or anything in any way, but Arsenal goes and gets Calafiore from Bologna, and Arsenal had their ambitions to win cups and all that, and Calafiore, who leaves that club Bologna, I don't know if he has like if he was an academy player or anything like that. But leaves Bologna, I'm sure a team that has a lot of love for him, and I'm sure he has love for them as well. And then to see, I'm sure he's happy to see his teammates lift that trophy, and what that trophy means for them, because obviously that's European competition for them. So that winning these cups. So for people that are trying to want to understand what's the importance of winning Coppa Italia, winning FA Cup, winning Copa del Rey, winning winning all these competitions, especially if you're a team that maybe generally isn't usually in that top part of the table, for them it's a chance to go for Europe, to play in a European competition. It's a chance for them to get more, more eyes on them, more money towards them. So it helps them grow more as a club as well, financially and in popularity. So I think that this is really awesome for them. I think it's exciting for them, and I can't wait to see Bologna, and I believe it's the Europa League that they'll be competing in. So it's a really cool story, good final. Like I said, Serie A is Kelsey said it. He really likes Serie A. He views that as the better league in the world, and I can't disagree with him. It is always a fun league to watch, Serie A. I think defensively what they provide, and also like in the technical play, I think also has its good moments as well. So it's a fun league, and like once again, I want to see this league be back in the conversation. So I don't want it to always be La Liga and the Premier League. We gotta have, like, we can't have like a Power 5, and it's all in reality it's like kind of you view it more as a Power 2 because of the Premier League and La Liga. Some people might not even throw La Liga in there. Maybe they just think they're just one power league, and that's the Premier League. So for the sake of that, but I loved how this final went. I had so much fun seeing all that transpired. Yes, it's disheartening to see AC Milan once again just close but no cigar. But their season has just been their season, and I think that Bologna took good advantage of it, and that's why they're the ones lifting the trophy. That's why their city is now, that's their moment in the sun. That's their spotlight. That's their moment, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Because this is what is awesome about this game, is just the ability of just not being able to predict what's going to happen. That sometimes David does beat Goliath. We know that story, David and Goliath, and in reality, that's not usually how it ends. It's usually not how it works out. Goliath more often than not wins. But it is cool to when we do get to see the Davids in these leagues prevail, and I think it was awesome. Congratulations to Bologna for winning, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, congratulations to Bologna, man. They just had the right strategy. They got the goal, and they did what they needed to do to maintain that one, similar to what Crystal Palace. They had their strategy, and they implemented it, and they got it done. That's point blank simple, and it was definitely a pleasure to see them win their trophy. I believe it's been years since they've won a trophy. I don't think this was their first one, but I could be wrong on that one. Once again, don't have a computer in front of me. But yeah, that is those finals, and I'll wrap it up with the last thing, which was obviously if you guys haven't been if you guys are watching the video version, as I've been in a car. Yes, I'm driving back from Frisco, Texas. So this was planned well before what has transpired in this past week, which obviously is the passing of my grandmother. So me and Jose, we were talking. Well, initially, so Jose wanted to go to Houston for the Texas Derby, but it was like a little too short notice. It was opening day, and I think he had some things happening at home, so he couldn't come to Houston. And so he threw out the idea, like, hey, would you be able to come up to Frisco to come here and watch watch the next Texas Derby game? And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And so we started planning things out. He's like, oh, just let me know your situation, like where you're gonna stay and all that. So So I was like, all right, let me plan this out. And the thing that to me, which was also great to have, was the ability to, because like I mean, like for many of you, if you guys listen to this podcast plenty enough, you know that I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and one of my buddies from my time in the Marines, Jeremy, he lives in a town outside of Dallas, named called Ennis, Texas. Which, fun fact, I learned that it's actually not that far from where Jose lives. But so I was like, you know what? I'm driving up. Like I always felt bad. Like when I was with the Dynamo Academy, I felt really bad that, especially because we had a tournament in Frisco. We actually were doing a tournament in Frisco, and I was gonna try to see on one of the off days to go see Jeremy, but unfortunately, like the drive from from Frisco to Ennis is a little tricky. So I didn't, and then also I never really had much time on my hands to actually just drive down and see him, or find a way where he can just drive up and we can hang out for a bit. And also, he also has a family, so that's just another bit of logistics that probably also has an impact for good reasons. And so I was like, you know what? Because initially I was going to just stay at Frisco for the weekend, like drive up to Frisco and just stay there for a couple of days. But you're like, you know what? I have a chance to like at least go hang out with Jeremy at least a day, at least have a day with him. And I thought that that sounds pretty cool to do. So that's exactly what we did. So I hit him up, and we figured it out and spent the first. So I drove up here on Friday, like as soon as I got off work, showered, ate, and then drove up to Ennis. I stayed with him. We hung out at we went to a bar. We hung out for a bit. Which it wasn't a lot, but and then the next morning we hung out a little bit, played a little Madden. Also, he beat the shit out of me on MLB The Show. We just talked and hung out. Got to be with his kids. He had a new addition, so I was happy to go finally meet his other kid. So it was really cool. It was great to see. It's as someone that has served, man. You hear unfortunately a lot of sad stories of people when unable to adjust when they get out, and kind of what I was talking about when I went to go to the wedding, right? It's awesome to see people that are doing well, and that's always happy for me. And Jeremy and his wife, I got to know them for many years when I was in the Marine Corps, and it's really cool to see them still thriving and still doing their thing and still being the happy couple that they are. But yeah, it was great to see him. It's always awesome. I think it's like the beauty of the Marine Corps, of like that bond, that brotherhood that we have, and that we can be able to start right where we were when we left. Like that was to me was like the best part of it all. But yeah, so after that, drove up to Frisco, got on my Airbnb, and then I met. Then Jose, like he came and picked me up to take me to the stadium. And I think it was funny was like, this is the first time I ever meet Jose in person. And it's kind of funny when you talk about like the content creation with, doing the podcast and all that. It's kind of funny to like, you've been talking to people from screens, right? Like, whether we record through Zoom or through StreamYard, and you build like a good, good relationship online. Like you've never met the person, but you always wonder if there's going to be like this awkwardness between the two, and it was far from it. It felt like I've known Jose for years, which technically I have. But it was awesome to finally meet the guy in person. Yes, I do in fact believe that he was a former college athlete, because that guy is very, for someone that like got out of playing soccer, for someone that had the injuries that he had, and not be fat, is very impressive indeed. Because I as soon as I got out of the Marine Corps, I really let myself go. So I think it's impressive that he's able to do it. I am going to the gym now. I just wanted to say that for some people that try to fat shame me on this on the comments. I am starting to go to the gym. I'm doing like 30 minutes cardio a day, because that's all I can give up right now. But no, it was really cool. It was really cool to meet Jose. It was really cool to meet his brother. The game was great. I will say, I know a lot of people clown on the stadium in Frisco, but it is a beautiful stadium. I generally I thought it was a really cool stadium. There's some construction right now happening, I think, in preparation for the World Cup. But I thought it was a really cool stadium. I will say their game presentation is very much way levels better than the Dynamo. I think Dynamo could probably step their game up a little bit because they had some fireworks. I was pumped. I was hyped. It was really cool. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I thought it was a fun experience. We did not know how this game was going to turn out. As a matter of fact, the game actually, there was a delay because of the weather, and so I didn't know if it was going to rain throughout the game. It did not, but yeah, no, it was a really great experience. And funny enough, we actually sat right behind the Dynamo supporters group. So the Surge was there, El Batallón was there, a lot of people were there. El Batallón and Texan Army. Those are the and then also a lot of my academy players that when I was with the Dynamo Academy were there. They when they all spotted me, they wanted to say hi to me. So I was really happy that I don't, bro. It's gonna make me a little emotional a little bit, but like I love that when they see me, they smile. Like they're happy to see me. Like they're like I'm not like this weird guy that used to work there for them. Like it means a lot, you know. It when you think of the whole game fired by the Dynamo crap. Yeah, no, like yeah. Shout out to Adam, Enrique, Sebastian. I mean, you know, it warmed me up a little bit, and because you know I'm never gonna know like what impact I had on those guys, but for them to be so happy to see me and want to like come and talk to me and say hi to me, it really warmed my heart, and I miss those guys so much. And God crap, I can't believe I'm crying right now, but yeah, no, I missed them, and I was really grateful that they were happy to see me. It really warmed my heart to see them be so just generally happy to see. Like I didn't go up to them; they came up to me, and I thought that was the funny part. But yeah, that warmed me up a bit, and it was great. But yeah, the game was great. You know, Dynamo won 2-0. Yeah, Jose was not happy, but I had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I will say the supporters groups. Come on, guys. Like I don't care about the cussing. Some of the people that were like around where I was said that they weren't appreciating them saying "fuck you, Dallas." That wasn't like the worst thing to happen. The thing that I would say that was really bad and very like fucking terrible was what they did was they started throwing shit to the fans because like where they were at, and then there was like, you know, some FC Dallas fans, and they started throwing shit at them. Unfortunately, a kid got hit, and yeah, that was disheartening. But I'm fine with just, you know, trash talk amongst fans, like that's fine. But when you get to throwing shit at people, that's a whole other thing. The I will say though, if you're gonna sit where there's a supporter section, anticipate to get beer thrown at you. Not beer cans, like beer poured, like, you know, just because they start tossing the beer. So I'm just, that's what I'm prefacing. That, like, in my opinion, that's where I'm at. So yeah, that was where it was disheartening. But all in all, a fun game, really cool experience. Dynamo beating FC Dallas, they, you know, win the Texas Derby. So, well, not win the Texas Derby. I think it's like 1-1. So I don't know how they decided. Maybe I think it's goal differential, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know if there's one more. I don't know if we play one more game with them. But it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to meet Jose in person. It was fun to get to see the man in flesh, you know, right there in the flesh. It was really cool. I'm grateful for all the academy players that reached out to me. Like it was a really cool moment, man. And yeah, once again, you know, Dynamo wins. So it's a win-win in my opinion. But yeah, cool experience at, you know, Toyota Stadium. Really nice. There's a lot of construction being happening, but I like their presentation. The fans were great. I actually love that they were actually involved with the singing. So all in all, this was my first time at the stadium. I will say next time if I ever come back to Frisco, I need to go to the Hall of Fame. I need to go see that. I thought that they have the soccer Hall of Fame, the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame over there. Didn't actually walk through it. I probably need to at some point. But it was really fun, and I can't wait for the next one. Also, there was like people that were giving away Takis, and they gave me like a shit ton of Takis bags. I don't need Takis, but I was like, oh, this. I also didn't really. I don't know if it was a fat joke or not, but hey, what was there? Anyways, Dynamo won, so great. Had a blast. Thank you, Jose, for inviting me. Unfortunately things didn't go your way, but hey, that's fine. And then he started taking some jabs at Real Madrid, which I was like, that's totally fair. But yeah, that's all I got, man. So we're gonna go ahead and segue into Liga MX.
I'm a pupusa man myself. Better than tacos to me. I gotta go with them.
So I did not expect for it to the game to finish. So it's gonna be funny because you're gonna hear me talk about the Cruz Azul America game before for Players Week, but yeah, it's done. But Liga MX, man, these semifinals are done. We have a final, and it is going to be a very interesting one. But before we get to that, let's talk about these semifinals. So Toluca, first place Toluca, beats fourth place Tigres 4-1 on aggregate. The first leg was a 1-1 draw. A very favorable, I would say, matchup. I think, despite not being without Breseño, despite without being Helino, it's a good first leg, right? You're on the road. You're going up against Tigres, a very, once again, very strong club in Mexico, and you go in there and you get the draw. Confidence should be to go into that second leg and be the top goal scoring team, which is exactly what happened in the second leg. It was a 3-0 win, wasn't even close. Toluca was able to beat Tigres, which I said it. One of the things that does hurt Tigres a little bit is it is kind of a bit of an older team, but strong and sturdy defensively. But this just fast-paced attack that Toluca has, the way they play, the tenacity that they have, is the reason why they're the team that finished first this season and why they were the highest goal-scoring team. Solid performance, and of course behind Vega to put 2 goals in for the team just to set the tone for this second leg. And I said it. If Toluca can overcome Tigres, I think that this is just another hurdle, another test for them to state their legitimacy in Liga MX, and I think things are looking great. And as far as a guy that, personally for me, I'm just happy to see Hector Herrera be able to excel after leaving with the Dynamo and him doing his thing here with Toluca. He's not a regular everyday starter for Toluca, but still, playing in. And I mean, I think that this team is very talented on all facets of the field, and I think that they're a really good team, and they're finding the right form to go into this final. Now, who are they facing? So, second place, Club América beats third place Cruz Azul 2-2. Once again, it's the aggregate rule. It is the aggregate rule that comes into play. Um, say what you want, man. Is it fair? No. But I will say, in that second leg, all the momentum was in Club America's side. It looked good initially for Cruz Azul going into the home, obviously into America's home soil. It wasn't Azteca, but still very much a Club. Very much a Club America home field, nonetheless. And they scored a goal. You felt like, oh shoot, momentum's there. They got the 2-0 on the aggregate. Dumb penalty. Dumb penalty. Henry Martin puts it in the back of net. Now it's 2-1. And then they get the finisher, the 2-2. That's all they needed. They didn't need to go get 3. They didn't need to get a third goal because, once again, you have this aggregate goal rule that favors the high. That this, I think this is some way that Liga MX protects the better teams, to protect them, to guarantee that you're going to have the best team possible to win the cup. Is it always going to happen? No. I mean, I think, we've I mean, this Clausura, this time alone, we've had it
be implemented 3 times, twice in the quarterfinals, and now in the semifinal. It's just very to me. The thing that sucks is that it's the semifinal. You've I think in contextually how I felt this time around versus what happened with Monterrey, because Monterrey came back to tie it on aggregate. They had the momentum. This time around, it was in fact Club América that had the momentum. They were down 2-0 on aggregate, and they come back and score 2 unanswered goals to even up the aggregate. I think it's a different story, but still, you know, this is kind of one of those matches. It's a rivalry game, right? Everything that you want from a game, from a semifinal, everything was there. But unfortunately, just because it's aggregate, we don't get to see extra time. We don't get to see drama of penalties, for that reason. But I think once solid defensive effort from America, um, but there's a reason why they're going for a four-peat. This is the reason why. They just have the experience. They have the ability to stay fighting for it. I do believe that we're not. This isn't the end of Cruz Azul. I think they have a really good team. They have the right coach. They're gonna get better and better. But yeah, America, and I said it. I said it. This was gonna be the best matchup for America. I think that this was gonna be there. If there was someone that could eliminate America from the playoffs, it was gonna be Cruz Azul. And this final, they want the four-peat. So are we gonna see it?
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon Jerky.
And we'll go right into that one. The final, first place Toluca versus second place America. We got the highest goal scoring team in Toluca versus the best defensive team in Club America. It is very much yin versus yang. It is going to be a very interesting matchup. I think Toluca has all the momentum on their part. I think, handling the way they handled Tigres does give them at least the edge as far as momentum goes. America did have to come back and had to go to that aggregate rule to advance, but still nonetheless has been the best team. And like I said, America is the best team in the playoffs. I'm not. It's not me taking jabs at America. This isn't what I mean. This isn't me taking jabs at Toluca. This is just me seeing how I feel. And once again, I'm always going to usually side with the better defensive team, despite the fact that I just don't generally like Club América, even though I don't really have a Liga MX team. Once again, I do have a soft spot for Toluca, so maybe I have some bias, but I don't at the end of the day. I really don't, because I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna say America wins it. I think America gets the four-peat. I think that this team, this journey for Toluca that we've been following so far in Liga MX, it's been great. It's been awesome. I love it. I love that they've gotten better and better over the years, and they're back in the final. And I really, really want them to win the final. For many reasons. One, because I grew up watching Toluca, and that's a fun club. It's a club that people forget are one of the most successful teams in Liga MX history. Um, just the all the history that comes from that team. But on top of that, Hector Herrera, someone who I view as a good friend of mine. Maybe not a good friend, just someone just a friend, someone that I view as a friend. Um, I would love to see him lift a trophy. I would love to see uh this happen for him. That's what I'm pulling for. And I mean, a lot of guys, man. Vega, his bounce back. I think that it was great that he decided to come back to Toluca. I thought it was awesome that he kind of earned his place back in the conversation, as especially as one of the top Mexican players. Um, Paulinho, just an amazing, back to back seasons to be the top goal scorer.
This team has so much to play for, and I think once again, Antonio Mohamed just the perfect coach for this team. If for to have that mentality, this story is just perfect for them, right? They overcome the hurdle of Monterrey. They overcome the hurdle of Tigres. Can they get over one more hurdle? And I really hope so. But this America team is just on a different level, man. Once again, one of the better defensive teams, one of the a team that definitely knows how to overcome adversity. Jesus Christ, I can't say fucking words. Sorry for cussing, Kelsey. America's just built for this. They are built for the playoffs. They were a playing team last playoff in the Apertura. They were a playing team, and they won the whole thing after me trying to dog on the fact that playing. I can't see a playing team winning a Liga MX trophy, and they did it. They did it for the three-peat, and they want that four-peat. Once again, they're just by far the better team in every aspect of it. I think the second leg is going to be the first leg is going to be very important. How you dictate how does Toluca respond to their defense of America, and also Toluca has last time they played in the playoffs, the last time they faced off in the playoffs, America didn't give they hang a goose egg on Toluca. America didn't, I believe, won both those games 2-0. That's got to be on the back of their minds. Not remembering how embarrassing it was for them to have a playing team go into this matchup. They were in some sense favored because of having being the higher seed and having that second leg be in your home stadium. Like all those things, everything favoring Toluca, right? They positioned themselves to be one of the better teams. They were, I think, all in all, one of the best teams that season as well. The best, at least they had the leading goal scorer. Paulinho was the leading goal scorer, and imagine being able to do that and still not be good enough to beat America this time around. Best attacking side. Can they get it? Can they do enough to overcome Club América? Because once again, this is Club América. This is Liga MX. This is the team that, when you think of Liga MX, you're thinking of America, and that's gonna be the challenge. And that this is once again the final hurdle. This is the final, right? The final. Can they overcome this hurdle to lift the trophy? I guarantee you, everybody's rooting for Toluca. Unless you're a rival of Toluca, but I feel like the hatred that Club America comes with, you do not want to see that team get the four-peat. I guarantee you, there's Chivas fans that don't want to see this team get the four-peat. They don't, because if America gets the four-peat, it's just we're never gonna hear the end of it. It's the whole hard truth. But I said it. I said it. If America gets to the final, they're going to win it. They're going to win it. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong here because I don't want to see them win it. Um, are they a good team? Yes. Are they talented? Yes. There's players on that team that I like watching. Obviously, Sendejas is the guy that I'll point out right away. Malagon, amazing goalkeeper. There's so many players on America that are so good. Jonathan Dos Santos. Can he? I don't know if this is his final season. I don't think so, but his story as well. Things like that, man. Like this team is really good. I do firmly believe that they're the best team, despite being second place. We're the best team in Liga MX this season. It's insane that they have a chance at reaching something historical as a four-peat, and yeah, I hope they don't do it, but I know they're gonna. Like I said, I'm gonna stand by my statement that I made last episode. I said it. If they make it to the final, they're going to win the four-peat, and I'm gonna stand by it. I will be rooting for Toluca. I will be hoping Toluca can do it. For many reasons, obviously Acha Acha being the biggest one, but I cannot. It's just hard. It's just hard for me. I think America is just too big of a Goliath, which is crazy to say when we're talking about a second place team. But that's how good they are. It doesn't matter where they place. I literally last season, it doesn't matter where they place. They just know how to play in the tournament. They know how to play in Liga MX playoffs. They know how to go far. They know how to win the thing. And that's going to be the challenge for Toluca. Can they overcome that? And if they do, I will say the rebuild is a success, of all the changes that Toluca has done over the years, from hiring Hernan Cristante, firing Hernan Cristante, hiring Cardoso, firing Cardoso, bringing in coaches that have plenty of experience of winning Liga MX, and it's just not working. Bringing in players, players on players on players, and it's still not working. Have they found the formula? Have they finally got the unit that can do it, can get it together? Is Ache the final piece needed to overcome their tragedies? Are we gonna see Toluca finally lift the trophy? I sure hope so. But like I said, I'm gonna stick with my prediction. I'm gonna stick with Club América. Um, because like I said, I think they're the best team, and I stand by my statement of if they make it to the final, they're gonna get the four-peat. So I'm gonna stick with my prediction. Like I said, I'm hope I'm wrong. Same thing like last week. I said I actually predicted Tigres and Cruz Azul to be in the final, and that was because I was really hoping for Toluca to. I was I picked Tigres in hopes that Toluca was going to overcome Tigres. I actually did pick Cruz Azul, hoping that Cruz Azul will do it, because once again, I do believe that Cruz Azul was the best shot at preventing America winning the four-peat. So we'll see if Toluca can do it. Can the best attack beat the best defense? We'll find out, man. Like I said, the second leg has definitely been played by the time you listen to this. But that final, that's hopefully the second leg. Hopefully that first leg is not a blowout. And then hopefully, so that way the second leg is actually can be enjoyable and able to be watched. So we'll see what happens, man. But it's Memorial Day weekend, right? Memorial Day weekend. So most people are going to be off Saturday. So everyone has a reason to stay up and watch that final. So we'll see how that all transpires, man. I can't wait, man. This is going to hopefully be a really good matchup. You have the two best teams in Liga MX this season, duking it out, and I really hope that it lives up to the billing. So, like I said, my prediction is Club América, though I will be heavily rooting for Deportivo de Toluca to see the Los Diablos Rojos win a trophy after so many years. So we'll be seeing what happens there, man. But all right, that is Liga MX. Next week we'll recap the final, and we'll go ahead and segue right into players of the week.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
All right, guys. Players of the week is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an amazing ticketing site app, or however you use it. It is great for getting tickets to all live events, from concerts all the way to sporting events. Me and Edward use SeatGeek for almost every event that we go to. We highly recommend it. It has a very great and simple grading system when it comes to rating those seats that are available for those events. If it is very green and the score is very high, that means that you're getting a great deal for that seat. Go ahead and purchase your ticket and enjoy your event. If it is red and super low of a score, that means whoever's trying to sell you those tickets is an idiot. Go keep searching through the app. You're going to find a great deal. We love the simplicity of SeatGeek, and if you're just not sold just yet, if you use the code BellyUpSports at checkout, you'll save $20 off that first purchase. So, once again, SeatGeek.com, use the code BellyUpSports, save $20 off your first purchase. My player of the week is Kavicha Kvaratskhelia. I hope I pronounced that right. He scored 2 goals in PSG's 3-1 win against Auxerre. And yeah, finished up a strong season for PSG. They are done for the season. Not done completely, but they are completed that part of their objective for this season for them. Obviously, they still have the Champions League in play, and another one that we'll talk about in a bit. But yes, solid performance for him. PSG, I believe this was a record-breaking season for them. So this just keeps pouring more and more salt on the whole Mbappe was the problem debate. So yeah. And Edwards player of the week is Julian Alvarez, who scored 2 goals and an assist in Atletico Madrid's 4-1 win against Real Betis. Just a very strong performance from Atletico Madrid. Obviously, Atletico Madrid still has one more game left in the season, but to improve their positioning, I mean they're pretty much safe. But Real Betis, not how you want to go down. Sheesh. going down to the final days. But all right. But yeah, once again, congratulations to Kivichuk, Kvaratskhelia, and Julian Alvarez for being our players of the week. Once again, use that code Belly Up Sports at checkout. Save $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. SeatGeek, life's an event. We have the tickets and, of course, games to watch this weekend. So, Liga MX final, as a matter of fact, I am watching the second leg for Cruz Azul versus America, and it is tied on aggregate. And of course, if you guys know at this point in Liga MX, if you're tied on aggregate, the higher seed automatically advances, which means if Cruz Azul cannot put one in the back of the net, Club América will be facing against Toluca in the final. So, and it's funny because I'm saying this after we literally just previewed the final. So that's kind of funny. But here we are. Yeah. So you guys know we're just go on in a time warp. And okay. I thought that was going to be the goal, but no, it hasn't. Cruz Azul is still down. They need a goal in order to win it. But we'll see what Obviously, by the time this episode has dropped, you already know who's in the final. So yeah. But anyways, Liga MX final, the second leg is going to be this weekend. So we'll see if Toluca can do it, or will it be the other team that gets mentioned earlier, actually before we did this segment. So we'll see what happens there. But Liga MX final, we'll see who wins the Clausura this year. Will there be a four-peat? Will there be a new champion? We'll find out. Coupe de France, PSG versus Stade Reims. So PSG not only has won their league, but they have also are on the cusp of winning a league double. And obviously their eyes are on the prize of getting a treble. So PSG having this amount of just greatness right now, what they're going through, despite getting rid of Mbappe, is just downright hilarious. Sucks for me as a Madridista, but hilarious nonetheless for PSG. In the English Football League Championship, it is the promotion final. We got Sheffield United taking on Sunderland to decide who is going to be the final team that will be featured in the Premier League next season. It's going to be exciting. Go ahead and watch it. See the drama that unfolds. Will it be Sheffield United going right back up to the Premier League, or Sunderland, a team that has gone through such travesty, such drama since going down to the lower leagues? Can they find themselves back in the Premier League? And that will be a story that I am very much looking forward to tell next week. We also got the Scottish Cup final. Aberdeen going up against Celtic. Celtic looking for a domestic double of their own. Can they do it, or can Aberdeen get in the way? So we'll see what happens there in the Scottish Cup final. ESPN Plus, people, there it is available there, as well as the EFL Championship promotion final. Taca de Portugal, that's their domestic cup. It's going to be Benfica versus Sporting, a battle of some heavyweights in Portugal. We'll see if who lifts that cup there in Portugal. So be on the lookout for that final. Trying to stay focused. All right. So obviously Bundesliga done. League One done. We still have three leagues left that still have their decision day to go, and we are going into the decision day for those leagues. In the Serie A, we have Napoli taking on Cagliari, Como versus Inter Milan, and Atalanta versus Parma. All three still fighting for the Scudetto. I believe those are the three teams. I could be talking out of my ass right now, but I do believe that these teams. Yep. So Napoli. Actually, I guess Atalanta's not really much in it. So that was all right. So all right, but still, Atalanta's still a great year for them. But Napoli and Inter. So Como versus Inter Milan, Atalanta versus Parma. Napoli right now has a point lead going into decision day. Win and they're champions. Lose or draw,
better hope Inter Milan doesn't get a win. So there's going to be a lot of drama in that part. Atalanta, I thought you were somehow still in it, but unfortunately you guys are not. But still, strong season nonetheless for the club. But yeah. In La Liga, we got Leganes versus Real Valladolid, a team that is fighting to avoid relegation. So little switcheroo there. Serie A, we're talking about potential champions. In La Liga, we're talking about teams that are trying to avoid relegation. Leganes in the cusp of avoiding relegation if they can beat Real Valladolid, and if Espanyol, well, also if Las Palmas beats Espanyol, Leganes will stay in La Liga and Espanyol will be relegated. So there's the drama right there in La Liga. If you guys want something to follow in the final days of La Liga, and in the Premier League, we have an interesting thing because first place are obviously already clinched. Liverpool champions of England. Arsenal, they're good. They're set. They're going to be second place this season. But Champions League spots are still on the line. We got Fulham versus Manchester City. Manchester City also still in the discussion for that Champions League spot. Manchester United versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa is that team that we're actually talking about. Manchester United kind of down the pooper. Newcastle United versus Everton. Newcastle United looking to get in the Champions League. And Nottingham Forest and Chelsea both are also in the race, and they got to go against each other. We're going to find out who will be the teams joining Arsenal and Liverpool in the Champions League next season. So there are storylines to follow. And with all that being said, it's not all the games that are going to be on, but I think if you want something to look forward to in the final days of the European calendar, I think we gave you guys some good matches to look forward to. But with all that being said, we're going to take a break, and then you're going to hear me back in the car wrapping this show up for you. So stay tuned.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, I preface this again. Do not ever fucking drive and record a full podcast episode. It's not a great idea. Don't do it. 9 times out of 10, 10 out of 10, don't fucking do it. But I needed to get this done, obviously, with all that's happened. But before I start saying all the shout outs and all that, obviously it's also Memorial Day. Before we do that one. Dog of the week, dog of the month, May. Jesus Christ, I can't figure out what month we're in. May's dog of the month is Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish took the shot of a lifetime by saying Happy Mother's Day to Alicia Lemon. I don't know. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He said Happy Mother's Day. She says, I'm not a mom, but thanks. And his response was, I can make that happen, or I can change that. Dog. I sent this to Edward, and Edward was like down just 100%. Jack Grealish, dog of the month. Like there was no one else we could not give that. Look, we already have an infatuation for Jack Grealish, and like I think amongst us in Insert Name FC, Jack Grealish has now become our guy. So Jack Grealish, you are a dog. We love you. If you ever want to come on the podcast, you are more than welcome to. You are everything that we love about the game. You are just generally having the time of your life. You are the epitome of when someone tells you to, act like you've been there, and the response would be, I have not. So we love you. You have big balls. So Jack Grealish, dog of the month. We love you so much. Jack Grealish, don't ever fucking change. Memorial Day weekend is actually happening this weekend. There's not much else I want to say, but besides, like, I'm not gonna be that veteran that says, oh, this isn't about it's not about, barbecuing and pools and, sales and all that crap. Look, life is fucking short. Life comes at you fast, and like the second you become an adult, life goes by even quicker. And I think we need to cherish every moment that we have on this planet, every moment we have living. And I think that was, to me, what this weekend was for me, was just another day where I got to live life and share it with people that I generally love and care about. That goes to Jeremy, and that goes to Jose from Goals TV. This is like what life is all about, is the people you meet, the path that you take, and it's meant to to live life. And for Memorial Day, it's the day we choose to honor those who made that sacrifice for people so that people can live their lives and have their freedoms. And I think obviously take time. If you have someone, that a loved one that served and is not here with you anymore, take the time and reflect. But remember that the best thing you can do to honor them is to live your life, and live it to the fullest, because once again, life is so precious, life is so short, and you never know when it's your day. And obviously, to all my family, in California, I'm here with you. I'm going to be there with you. Not a day goes by that I thought about my grandma. Last time I saw her was when I went to El Salvador, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall. It's unfortunate, and I am at least grateful that I had one more moment with her before she was gone and out of this world. And she's a big part of my life. She was a very big part of my young life. All I could think about, all the field trips that I used to go to as a kid. She would be one of the chaperones. Didn't speak a lick of English, but she was always on my field trips. And I get to remember those cool memories of that. Her always making food for us whenever we visited California. Her crying every time when we had to leave. We had to leave for to go back to Houston. All these things about my grandmother that I remember. It's things that just comes to me now more so than ever. It sucks that she's not in this world with us anymore. But I think the beautiful part of all this is that she's not in pain anymore. I think unfortunately she was getting sick, and I thank God that he took her with him, so that she can finally be at peace and finally not feel any more pain. And it's part of life. It's really honestly just part of life. So rest in peace to my grandmother. For everyone out there, man, if you guys haven't taken the time to go reach out to somebody, whether it's a grandparent, parent, somebody, if you haven't spoken to them in a long time, go do it. Like, don't have regrets, and I know there's a lot of people, right, speaking on the scenario for my grandmother, that feel that way. And I understand life happens. You have your priorities, and sometimes just something as simple as just calling somebody is just maybe not your priority. But also, you just never, once again, life comes at you fast, and you just never know when your day comes. And so I think that to me is the important part. Go and reach out to that person. Go say hi, how are you doing? Something as minuscule can mean so much, and from that conversation could be something that you can reflect on and remember. Like, I got that with them, and I think that's what I want to preface. So make sure you guys do that right now. Do that. I know last week we said we did that for mothers. Now previously we did it for mothers. Now I want you guys to do it just in general. Along with the whole Memorial Day thing, but even so, like, find time. Just find time to connect, always rekindle. You know, right now as I thought, like I said, with the whole seeing Jeremy again, like, you know, it was great. It was just what I needed. You know, it was just the best. And so, reach out to somebody, man. Like, reach out to somebody. If you haven't spoke to somebody in a long time, this is the sign to go ahead and reach out to them. But yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to episode 219. Holy shit. Once again, shout out to Belly Up Sports. Follow them, bellyupsports.com. Lots of articles that are being written. We got the Stanley Cup, the Western. I think we're at the semifinals, Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals, NBA playoffs. The Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. Who would have thought that? You know, I don't know what's going on in the Western Conference, but I know about that. But yeah, so, you know, get ready for that. Lots of articles that have been written on that. Lots of articles that have been written on sports across the country, but also internationally. Shout out to our guy Nick Gable, who also writes for soccer. But yeah, check them out, bellyupsports.com. Follow them on social media at bellyupsports on Instagram and at the X. Also, man, Goals TV, GOZ.tv. If you guys are looking for soccer content here in the U.S., that is where you're gonna find it. Follow them on Instagram at goals.tv, GOZ.tv on Instagram, and on the X, goals_TV. That's goals_TV, GOZ_TV, to see what's going on over there at Goals, man. It's been awesome. I've loved collaborating with them, and just be on the lookout, man. There's more shit to come with Goals TV as well. And of course, man, we can't talk about we can't end this episode without sharing love and showing love to our one, the only Roosevelt Spencer, the namesake of the Roosevelt Spencer Player of the Year Award. We love Spencer so much that we named an award after him. You know, speaking of reaching out to people, man, Spencer, we talked to him for a bit. You know, he was showing us pictures of his beautiful daughter. You know, so fun little backstory. So we got the plaques for the episode of the year for Belly Up Sports. They kept fucking up the plaque. They kept fucking up the plaque so much that they had to send us. To the point where now me, Edward, and Spencer all have a plaque. So I have a bad plaque. I asked Edward if he wanted the other plaque. Was good, except that the plaque was upside down. So, and Edward's like, I'll take that one. And then so we were like, all right. So, and then me and Edward, we agreed to give Spencer the good plaque. At least we hoped it was going to be a good plaque. And yeah, so Spencer was really appreciative. He really loved it. Yeah, so, and obviously thank you, Belly Sports, once again for awarding us that. But yeah, so we love Spencer, man. If you guys love the intros and outros that we have for this podcast, and you guys are like, man, these beats are sick, it is made by Spencer. Spencer is our producer. He makes great beats for us. So if you guys need some beat work done, we highly recommend him. Follow him on Instagram at thatguydope. Once again, at thatguydope, just how it's spelled. And he'll take great care of you like he always does with us. So with all that being said, have a great, safe Memorial Day weekend. Remember, live life, reach out to somebody you love, and yeah, have a great weekend, guys. Catch us next week for episode 220. We're going to recap Europa League, and we're going to recap Europa Conference League. So be on the lookout for that episode, and then yeah, so it should be a fun episode. Take care, guys. Love you so much, and rest in peace to my grandma. I love you and I miss you. So take care, guys.